Thing about the food industry, if something works, you'll see that 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 everyone else is gonna do.
Yeah.
So if we had that in mind, like, I love using my creativity to build businesses, but if there's a way that we can put our values onto this, stamp our values onto this, the hope is that if you're gonna take inspiration from the way we run things, also take the fact that we're doing it with our values, right?
In today's episode, we're doing something a little bit different. I'm really pleased to be joined by Sakib Ahmed, the co-founder of Simply Smashed, the #1 rated burger joint in all of London. He shared with us his journey, how he started in fintech and how he leveraged that experience to create what he calls data-driven burgers, and how he specifically focused on customer reviews to become the #1 burger. He also shared a relatively harrowing experience where he ended up getting review bombed for supporting a certain cause and standing on his beliefs, and how the community rallied together to support and uplift him. A really amazing story for you today, so please tune into the whole thing. As always, I'm your host, Areeb Siddiqui, and this is Muslim Money Talk. Before we begin, we actually noticed only about 10% of you are subscribed to the podcast. So if you like what you're listening to and you want to hear more from us and see more things Muslim and money related, then please consider subscribing and, of course, leaving this episode a like and share it with your friends. Leave us a comment or a review, because it really, really does help us out and help more people to find us. Thank you. Now back to the show. Saqib, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Yeah. What about you? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. No one ever asked me that. Episode 15,
No,
16 episodes in, and no one's ever asked me that question back. So yeah, alhamdulillah. This is, I think, our first time meeting in person.
I think so. But we have a lot of mutual friends.
We have a lot of mutual friends. Many
Yeah.
of them have appeared on the podcast so far. But I think I first became aware of you firstly through that WhatsApp group that we're a part of, the London Muslim Tech Bros group.
Yeah.
And I knew about Simply Smashed for a long time, but then I didn't make the connection between you and Simply Smashed until what happened recently.
All right.
With, the review bombing and what has happened since. So yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for making the time.
No, the pleasure's all mine.
So I wanted to, we've got a lot in store in this podcast. There's a real roller coaster of a story that you can share from your journey in fintech, starting off there and then moving almost on paper, it seems like, how did this happen? But moving to set up your own burger joint, to review bombing by certain entities, and then rising to become the #1 reviews burger joint in all of London. Only last month, right, mashallah?
We've been the #1 rated burger joint for around 4 months now.
4 months,
So
okay.
yeah, so we've been there for a while, but I think recently we just solidified that position more. So we've moved from 4.8 to 4.9, which is
Right.
the highest you possibly can go.
Incredible.
Yeah, so.
Incredible. I do have a bone to pick with you, though. Why aren't you guys on delivery at Uber Eats?
We are on Uber Eats.
Yes.
We're exclusive with Uber Eats right now. So that's the reason why with them, because we've got an exclusive contract with them.
I see.
So yeah, with that, we're one of the highest rated merchants on Uber Eats. So we've decided
amazing.
to just lock in.
But they do deliver as well. It's not just pickup.
Yeah,
Uber Eats.
yeah.
Okay,
so
no way.
I'm pretty sure this is in the delivery radius as well, which is, but yeah, it covers most of East and Central London.
Fine. Okay. The reason I asked that will become clear shortly. But let's start with your background.
Yes.
Because obviously, if I look at you on paper, Queen Mary's, you did digital and tech solutions.
Yep.
Is that right?
That's right.
And then you went on to join a startup.
Yeah. No. So I did a degree apprenticeship. So I worked at Goldman Sachs as a degree apprentice and studied at Queen Mary at the same time.
No way. Okay, so how does that work?
So we were the first cohort of the program at the time. So I used to work 3 days at Goldman Sachs as a software engineer and studying 2 days at Queen Mary at the same time.
That's incredible.
In engineering.
How did you apply for something like that?
How did I apply? Honestly, I remember when I was in college, so my brother's taking a gap year and he worked for a year in I think it was IBM, but he's 3 years older than me. And when I was in college, I felt like I wanted to do something similar before going into university. So I remember applying to a bunch of these and just getting rejected. And that, people go through that grad rejection experience, and they talk about how tough that is. That first time we get that rejection. For me, I was getting that in college, trying to apply for things and trying to do my A-levels at the same time.
So was this through UCAS or was it separate?
It wasn't through UCAS. Okay. So I was going through these rejections. You're applying for jobs. You apply just like it's a job, sure. Really. So going through an assessment center, going through interviews, all of those things. I remember getting a bunch of these rejections, and then my brother just sent me this application. You should apply for this, and it was just an email, and they were the first cohort to do tech. And back then, like, tech wasn't sexy, right? It was when I heard the tech, I was like, oh, how are they going to be fixing back of computers or IT? I didn't know how much there was to explore there. So,
but it was with Goldman specifically? Yes. They made that clear. And had you heard of them before?
So I did hear of Goldman before, yes. Especially the college I went to. We went to different inside days to different banks. So it was like, I knew the value of the name and something prestigious, but I just didn't see myself going into tech, right? Everyone was going through finance at the time. I want to be that guy. Yeah. My brother said just apply. And then I applied, started going through the application process, and like some of the questions they were asking me, like I remember the take-home exercise, it really got you to like problem solve really well. And then I started thinking maybe there is a route here. I know that if I got in any previous rejections, if I didn't get those rejections, I wouldn't be in tech today.
Yeah, of course. So it was always meant to be.
Yeah.
But so what was the setup? I'm just trying to understand. You apply, you got this job with Goldman's, and they said, come and join us, but do it alongside your university degree.
So Goldman funds your degree.
No way.
Yes. So you don't go through UCAS. Goldman has, and other employees have a set amount of spaces for their degree apprenticeship program.
And there's certain universities linked up with this program.
Yeah.
In this case, Queen Mary.
In this case, Queen Mary. Once you get accepted by Goldman, you've got a space at Queen Mary.
Incredible. So the idea is that you would do your, was it 4 years you did?
It was 4 years, but I ended up doing 5. So,
okay. So you do your time at Queen Mary's,
yes,
and then you would go and start full-time at Goldman's. I guess that's the idea.
But
you did something in between. I think mini deal.
Oh, no, mini deal was during.
That was during
the degree apprenticeship. So
how did that come about?
When I was working at Goldman, it was actually in the prayer room, in the Goldman Sachs prayer room. And there was I made a friend there that we just used to go for Jamaat regularly for Salah there. And I think one time I remember asking him, how's it going? Just small talk. And he misheard that to like, how's his app going? And then he just started talking about this app. I didn't know what app he was talking about. He just like, it's going well. We're getting some of these blockers and stuff like that, but that's what we're trying to build. And I was like, hold on, I just asked you how is it going. So then he showed me what I was building at the time. And that was like the first iteration that he's built himself of what Minideed is. So just to give context on what Minideed is Minideed is a social media app that meets, think of Twitter meets GoFundMe, right? So the idea is that every post you make, every tweet that you'd make actually raises money for charity. So the way you interact with tweets is not by retweeting, but you can donate micro donation pennies to different charities.
Oh, I think Sadiq told me about.
Yeah,
I think he was signed up to it.
Yeah.
Gosh, very early on. I think like in 2020.
Yeah. So that's when I was working on it at the time. So
sorry for people who don't know. I mean, Sadiq Dorasa, he knows who he is if he's listening. He's the founder of Muslim Census and now Nama Money. He'll be on the podcast soon. But okay, no way. So you guys were behind that.
Yeah. So I like the idea. I really like the concept, and I really think something was there. So I asked, I'd love to get involved and help out and see if there's any way. And that literally started my journey into growing and building Minideed.
And entrepreneurship
in
general. Yeah,
entrepreneurship in general.
So that was your first taste of it?
Yeah, definitely. And to this day, I still think it's one of the most enjoyable ones I've had.
Really?
No, it's not. It's not that everything since has been difficult, but it's just like I think there's something really special about building products that like makes an impact. Like you could see the direct impact of what you're building immediately, right?
Yeah. Whereas at Goldman's, what were you doing at Goldman's?
So at Goldman, I did my first 2 years. I was a voice engineer. So essentially, it wasn't more software engineering there. It was is more infrastructure management of things that mics, Hoots, trader mics. There was big migrations happening, how you handle that. So it's more like project management kind of work.
Big project management, software as a service type
thing.
So the dealers were using, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly that. And I was working on a project to build a soft phone solution. So like software turrets as well.
So basically Goldman's and your degree gave you almost the toolbox that you needed and the training, and then you finally got to apply it in a very interesting way through MiniDeal.
Yeah, through MiniDeal, yeah, definitely. Even from my learning experience, I feel like I was so much more interested in the stuff I was doing at Goldman and stuff I was doing at MiniDeal. And what I learned, don't get me wrong, gave me a good foundation. It was very theoretical. So I was just, and one of the cool things, especially because it was the first cohort of people at the apprenticeship. Some people like this criticism of like an unstructured program, there's not much direction, but it's also an opportunity to learn what you want, right? You can try and take initiative.
Yeah. And
that's what I really did. Like I started naturally gravitating more towards product.
When you say product, for people who don't know, what does that mean?
From a Goldman perspective, I was just getting more interested about, okay, who's buying these turrets? How does those deals work? Those kind of things. Also looking more towards the client. But in terms of what MiniDeal was more core product, right? It was the main problem I was trying to figure out with MiniDeal is how do we get people? And we had no users, nothing at the time. And it was this problem that we were trying to solve for a couple months, really. And I remember that's when I went through my first accelerator program.
With who?
Called Fast Forward.
Fast Forward.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So they were like a 7-week accelerator program. I was actually at the time I was using my university days to go.
Oh, were you?
The accelerator program.
Okay.
Instead of, I'll just do uni in like at home. It's fine.
Are you okay saying that on camera? Okay.
I don't work at Goldman anymore.
Fine.
I got my degree, so I
because
know.
My next question was your employer okay with you doing all this, or did they know?
They did not know.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, they did not know. They didn't know anything about MiniDeal. It was just more doing my degree.
A passion project.
Yeah, it was more a side passion project, and yeah, it was something that it really used to excite me. And I remember at the time we had 0 users, and that's what we were trying to figure out. For a couple months, we were getting nowhere, and then we went through this accelerator program. I just remember this particular experiment we did that got us like our first couple users, and made us realize that's why we've not been getting any users. Because I've been pushing it out, I've been sharing it here and there, and you're just not getting any people using it. And we just didn't understand for a long time what was going on. And I remember putting out a screen recording of just one function of the app, which was the function of the app I'm talking about was opening a deep link post to the app, doing a micro donation. It was the way to within 2 taps you've donated a penny. So it was just highlighting that we just realized people were not understanding the product. And because we just explained one feature of the app, and people started coming onto the app because of let me see this easy way to donate, for example. Even though that was not our product, right? We weren't building something just to make donations easier, right? We were trying to build social media.
But that resonated with the customer base enough.
Yes,
it drew them in.
It was breaking down our app to just one feature, and it was enough to bring people in.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
We had a very similar experience recently where with Kestrl, we do a lot of stuff. So there's budgeting, auto saving, and Sharia screening. But recently we built an interesting feature which had been in our backlog for a long time. And I just didn't think it was that interesting. But, we had some time, we built it. It was an interest purifier. We noticed a lot of customers were gaining interest on bank accounts without realizing it, or sometimes realizing it, and they were just, giving it away randomly. I'll give £10 here in Sadqa, I'll do this on Jummah. And we realized that through open banking, people connect their banks. We can actually see every single interest payment that comes in, and we can just say to you, listen, Saqib, you've gained £10 in interest on your Starling account this month. Do you want to donate it to National Zakat Foundation? Very intentionally, and it's not Sadqa. Like a lot of people don't realize that interest that comes in cannot be given as charity. Exactly. It needs to be purified, given away. And you won't be getting reward for it, but it will purify the rest of your wealth. And I just put up like a screen recording on LinkedIn and a bunch of people were like, this is really useful. Why didn't you guys do this from the start? And alhamdulillah, we got like quite a few people using that.
Alhamdulillah.
Like over just a
Very
couple of
similar
days.
experiences.
So I was like, wow, okay, we should be doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
And that started like the whole new train of, new products that we're doing. But anyway, it's not about me, it's about you.
No, it's exactly that's exactly what happened to us. And I think like sometimes as founders, we get very too engrossed in how product looks from the big picture and all the things.
Yeah.
You don't, and that's when my mindset thinking kind of shift, right? Of like try and always frame whatever you're building in the mind of your customer, right? And then we started growing our initial community from there. Alhamdulillah, it grew. We ran a couple campaigns. Like I remember, like our peak was in Ramadan. We're getting really good traction from Ramadan. Like Minideed became this app where all these where people would go, I want to stay off other social media, but I still want to use social media.
Because the idea is like a feel-good social media where you're not just mindlessly watching and liking stuff. Every tap is actually donating. And it also means that you're quite meaningful with the stuff you're interacting with as well.
And what's really cool is that it built like its own identity within the app of how people perceived Minideed to be, and how people were using Minideed. So to give you an example, it became this wholesome social media app. If I'm going to post and raise money for charity, I want to post positive things. I want to post things that I don't want to doom scroll on Minideed, right? And that's how users, we didn't say anything. We didn't say this is how you post, this is what you do, we didn't say anything at all. But it was very interesting to see this is what we built. Let's see how you take it. And this is the identity they made of the app themselves. And I remember thinking like, wow, we built such a cool space. Like we've had like, and it was such a supportive community as well. We started building this community where like people were sharing their struggles, and you see so many supportive. You're getting the non-toxicity from other social media, and they were coming to Minideed.
Wow.
To talk, and it was a very cool space we built.
So where is Minideed now?
So Minideed now, I left the team after like a year and a bit.
Okay.
A year.
So you left in 2021?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, okay. just around there. So I grew the initial community back then. We got it went through the accelerator program. Alhamdulillah, I think we got around 10,000 users at its peak. Okay. So it was good, but I just had other priorities back then, so I had to move on. And I think we need to this. I think they still have a community. I don't think they've built out more from there, but it's still being maintained.
But
it still has an active community.
You learned so much from that experience, and obviously you got bitten by the entrepreneurship bug. So I want to know, because I'm seeing two stories here. I'm seeing tech, financial services, Goldman's, entrepreneur, maybe going down a fintech route.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you go and open up a burger restaurant in East London. What happened? What's the connection?
So the connection is Mudassar actually gave me a book.
Mudassar Chaudhry?
Yeah. So he gave me a
literally book. The episode right before this one. Yeah. That's perfect.
He gave me a book on the Unfair Advantages by Ash Ali and Hassan Kuba. It's a great book, by the way.
Unfair Advantages by who?
Hassan Ali and Ash Kuba.
Okay.
And one of the things it talks about is when you're building is looking at what advantages you have to yourself. Where are you ahead in other people? And you just double down on those. You compound on those wins and go further in there. And the reason why restaurant, obviously, we chose restaurant is very simple. My dad has a restaurant. And that was the idea. Like, to understand where Simply Smash started, it starts with my dad. My dad has been in the food industry for about 20 years now, alhamdulillah. So I was born in France. So he actually had his first restaurant was in France. So so I was born in a seaside town called Dieppe. So think of it like a French equivalent of Brighton, kind of like it's very seaside. At the time, we were probably the only Bengalis in the area. My dad opened his first Indian restaurant there. And we became known as the family with the Indian restaurant. People loved our food, so it was good.
How long were you there for?
I was there for the first 8 years of my life. So I moved when I was 8.
Oh, okay. Parlez-vous français?
Ouais, je parle français, ouais.
Oh, no way. Okay, wow. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to push my luck and try anymore. But, okay, so you were there for 8 years. Your father ran a restaurant.
Yes.
And then moved to London.
Yeah, my father ran a restaurant for a couple of years. Then he also did a couple of years as a market trader.
Okay.
So selling things on the back of the market. So even my brother's sense of entrepreneurship, even from them was not. I was a bit too young for that time, but my brother used to go with my dad to sell these, it would toys, posters, all the things, and he used to. I remember the big van. He used to take all the things to a market trader. And
Which market?
It was in France. This was in France.
Oh, in France.
Yeah. So that's the things he did there before we moved to the UK. And then my dad worked on another restaurant here, and before opening up his own restaurant for the first time with a partner, and that was called Zaytun. So it was like a Somali restaurant.
Zaytun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was like back then Somali food wasn't as trendy as it is now.
Yeah.
And it was
there's one right next to your restaurant.
Yeah. So
what's it called?
It's called
Darbar.
Damal.
Damal.
I don't know. I forgot that.
Okay.
Sorry.
If they're watching, yeah.
So he opened that up, ran it for a couple of years. And it was actually my brother that was when he was quite young actually, when he was 18. So I was still quite young back then. But when he was 18, he opened, he took that restaurant, and him and my dad opened the first halal Italian restaurant in the area. In the same place, yeah. It's called Anima d'Italia back then. So, and that's what it became, the first halal Italian restaurant. My brother ran that for a year, then he went to uni. And my dad continued running it for a couple of years, and alhamdulillah, yeah, it did good. It did. He had a very strong start. Especially when my brother was there, we had a lot of traction. There wasn't much halal food in the area. Yeah. I mean, halal Italian.
Halal Italian. Yeah,
you can't get that
still
much.
Pretty rare.
Yeah,
still
exactly.
Very rare.
Exactly.
Except for the whole Pizza Express thing. Which,
yeah. So getting a good pasta, especially back then.
Yeah. Food restaurants was always in the back of your mind as okay, this is a staple of my family.
It was so. More recent, so how I roped in was more so fast forward a bit more to lockdown period, and I was just nearing the end of my degree and finishing off my apprenticeship at Goldman Sachs.
And Mini Deed, you were still there?
Mini Deed, by then I started easing off.
Okay.
I just needed to focus on
finishing uni,
finishing work. I still remember this very clearly, where my parents decided to go back to Bangladesh. They wanted my brother and me to help oversee things at the restaurant. And I remember right when they were on the flight, that's when lockdown got announced.
Whilst they were in the air?
Whilst they were in the air, UK lockdown was just announced.
My God.
And flights were about to be stopped. It led to one of the most intense 3 months period of my life, where we suddenly got this restaurant that we have to pivot now just to try and survive, and at the same time finishing off my degree, finishing off Goldman, and also just that was the first time kind of living without my parents.
Oh my God.
So I was trying to figure out.
Thrust into adulthood. Right? You inherit a restaurant in the middle of lockdown where you can't have anyone come to the restaurant.
Yeah.
You have to finish your degree, deal with your employer, Goldman's, and you and your brother are just living alone for the first time.
Yeah, it was me, my brother, and his wife, and we were just in that house with no adults.
Was the restaurant below the house?
No. So no, it's 15 minutes away.
Okay.
So, it's not super far, but it led to a very intense period, and we went through so many things during that period. It was crazy.
What was the hardest time about that period?
So we had to figure out how to survive. That was the main thing.
Because when you say survive, to keep the restaurant alive.
Yeah, keep the restaurant afloat, because we realized that it was going through times of difficulty at the time, and so we weren't starting from zero. We had to stay afloat and go super lean survival mode. So we at the time, me and my brother decided to run 2 campaigns.
Okay.
To help keep it afloat and also do something for community. And it's why I'm really big for community at Simply Smash now. I'll explain why. It was so the first campaign we ran, this was to more just unlock a new revenue stream and just get a bit more money flowing into the restaurant, which was we focused one of our star product, which is the tiramisu. It's still the tiramisu that we sell at Simply Smash.
Really? Okay.
And that's actually my mom's recipe.
No
so
way.
It's my mom's recipe, the one that we still have from back then to now. And we focused on that, and we decided to sell it in trays rather than slices and do delivery around London.
Okay.
And we called this campaign the Tiramisu Response Unit. I'm quite proud of that name. We did these trays and we put like pandemic puns on it. So like the perfect pandemic pick me up, or social distancing not necessary while consuming it. Those kind of things. And just adding a bit more humor to people's, especially when you're
with what was going on
at the time. And alhamdulillah, that was quite successful. Like a lot of people were started being big fans of our tiramisu, and we managed to deliver also outside like the East London. We started delivering around London with those tiramisus.
Well, just you and your brother being delivery?
Our brother did it a lot, and then we just got someone to help us out to start doing some deliveries. And the other campaign we did was also, even though we were in difficult times, we wanted to do, I was thinking about how do we stay afloat, but also like if there's anything we can do for the community, we should try at the very least. And that's what the back of that. Mudassar was actually involved with this campaign with me, and the support others in this campaign, which is called Help Our Heroes. So the Help Our Heroes campaign we decided to do is deliver pizzas to NHS workers. And the way we did this was for every pizza that's donated by the public, Anima d'Italia will match it and will donate it to different hospitals around London.
No way.
That campaign did really well. Like it went viral around corporate networks. Like EY, Deloitte, the rest of the big four.
How were you distributing this?
So how would all us, like
on your own personal social?
Yeah. Personal socials, or distributing by the pizzas, or do you mean the campaign?
Oh no, sorry, I mean the campaign. Yeah.
Oh, the campaign.
How did you get the word out?
Yeah, so like the way it went viral on corporate networks was via email. It was just one of those campaigns
where Mudassar comes in, of course, the head of EY Muslim community. Okay.
Yeah, but like we had Sadiq, Ibrahim, and my brother. We all pushed it out.
Sadiq was at HSBC at the time.
Yes. So
Ibrahim was, where was Ibrahim?
I think he was at Deloitte at the time.
At Deloitte, okay.
So we started.
Ibrahim from Dean Developers.
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
For people wondering. Okay.
Yeah. So we started seeding this campaign, and it got spread a lot via email, and alhamdulillah, it led to a lot of donations that we've managed to use to donate a lot of pizzas around London. So we were like, I think our peak we delivered like a total of 10,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
In what period?
In 2.5 months. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
10,500 pizzas.
Sorry, my bad. Not 10,500. 10,000. No, it was 10 to 15,000 slices. So that's much less. Yeah, sorry.
But still, that's a lot of individual deliveries.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No, I think it wasn't one delivery or something.
Oh, okay, because it's a corporate. Okay, fine.
No, we just give we do like batch deliveries of like 100 pizzas for this hospital for one day, another hospital, and we all chipped in. We all tried to drop off to different hospitals.
But there's still, say, 10 slices of pizza, 1,000 pizzas.
Yeah, no, it was
in
really
a very
cool.
short time frame. So incredible.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, it was a way to cover our costs. That was more like to still pay our staff, to have enough money to actually pay our staff.
Yeah.
And also do something for the community.
So you'd inherited the staff from your parents.
Yes.
What did the staff look like? How many did you have?
So we had around 3 staff.
Okay. Chefs.
Yeah, chefs. Yeah. So we put people on the ones that could be on a government furlough. Put them.
Yeah.
If some people wanted to work, so that's the setup we had. We went very back to basics and went back to a delivery model, focusing on a delivery experience. So even like Anima d'Italia at the time, it looked like a war zone, just like a camp. We pushed all the tables away, and then
we didn't need them, right?
Yeah, you didn't need them. So it was just like we turned it into a counter, and then people used to come. We focused a lot on our deliveries.
This is reminding me of The Bear, right? This is like a Desi version of The Bear, right? Which is a show about Disney Plus. Wow. Okay, incredible. So this is still, where does Simply Smash come into this?
So yes, Simply Smash, where it came into this. So we ran those 2 campaigns. Alhamdulillah, stayed afloat. And at the end of that, we were thinking, okay, well, what should we do now? And we had 2 options. Either, alhamdulillah, we managed to steer the ship and let's just cut our losses and get out and sell the business, or should we look into an opportunity to start something new?
So what were things like at that point? Had you broken even and you thought, okay?
No, yeah. As in, we were still in the red. We're still trying to figure things out. So we were still...
how were you funding this? Just through your own money?
We had missed some of our lease payments.
Okay.
and things like that.
Fine,
So it
fine,
was
fine.
those kind of
Yeah.
So it was we didn't owe directly much. So it was just figuring those things out. And so we started entertaining talks to sell.
Okay.
And we had a couple talks, but I think on the back of that, it was actually one of the negotiations we had, which was they had a very harsh and very rude negotiation tactic, which kind of insulted my dad. My dad felt a bit personal on that.
Who was this you were talking to? You're gonna have to say that. Were they another restaurant or?
It was another brand. It was a very mainstream brand.
An Italian brand.
It wasn't an Italian brand. No,
Okay.
it's a very popular brand.
Very popular brand. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I'll just keep it at that. For now.
Okay.
But I think that really got to us, and we thought, you know what, it spurred us on to maybe look into doing something ourselves again. Like, give it one more shot.
Yeah.
And then, like, this time we see what we can do together. So, like, our skills are really complementary, alhamdulillah. So, like, we can build something together.
You, your brother, your father?
Yes.
What skills did you each bring to the table?
My brother's really good he's a logistical wizard. He's very good at scale, like building the processes, making sure that we can scale things efficiently.
So a chief operating officer, for it, basically.
I think he's more the CEO role. Like,
Really?
Yeah. Because I like to get into like product and growth and like in terms of the management, he's very good at that.
Fine.
And, so he's more the CEO. I fit more the CEO role. And
your father?
My father is just the boss.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So he because he's got a lot of wealth of experience. Yeah. So one thing about my dad, he's always show up.
Yeah.
He will always show up, even like because he's worked in this business all the time. It's always at the back of his mind. He will always show up if we need anything. If there's something needed, he'll be there. So we were thinking at the time, and alhamdulillah, I managed to finish my degree and finished Goldman.
So had Goldman said, "Look, you finished your degree, come join us full time," and you were like,
I wanted to take a break.
Okay.
So I didn't want to go back to Goldman. So one of the things I wanted to do is so I spent like 8 months abroad and studying. But before we do that, I had like around 3 months after I finished Goldman. So we had like a 3 months window. And in that 3 months window, we decided let's build something else. So that spurred on what I called the 140-day challenge.
Oh, okay.
And the idea was very simple. We built something. We built a business, a new brand from scratch in public, and internally we actually just tried to launch 3 brands at once. And the idea was one of these is going to win. So we need to know which one wins. And then we can double down on that.
Why 140 days?
Because that's how long I had until I leave. That's literally it.
140 days. We're going to make
random.
3 brands.
Yes.
And one of them is, inshallah, is going to win.
Inshallah, yes.
So one of them was obviously Simply Smashed.
Yes. So the others was a vegan version of Simply Smashed that we call Vegan Burger Bros.
Oh, okay.
So we did launch that.
Okay.
That was quite cool. So like it was a burger brand with like vegan products instead of that.
Yeah. Vegan was very big at the time. There was all these places popping up around East London Central. Yes. I can't remember the names now, but
yes.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, it was, and it did get some good traction.
Okay.
We had a couple customers, like it was growing at the time. And the third one was called Grec, which was like a French doner brand. That's the one I wanted to bring to market.
A French doner brand, okay.
Because I was born in France, so one of the things there's the French street food, like doner's really big there, and the quality of the meat they use there is much more higher quality, and it just tastes better for me. Okay. So it's one of the things that I really wanted to bring to the UK.
Okay, so you'd be going head to head with German doner.
That's the kind of concept that we wanted to build. And cool. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a Grec to market because of supply chain issues.
Fine.
With the meat. We couldn't get it in. It's a shame because that's the one we pushed the most as well. That's the one I was super excited about. So then it became which burger brand does the best.
Right.
And it became clear that Simply Smash was growing to be the clear winner.
Thank you for listening to Muslim Money Talk. If you like what you've heard so far, you might be interested in checking out what we do at Kestrl, the Muslim Money app. Kestrl is a service that helps Muslims who want to grow their wealth without having to compromise, whether it's on their belief or user experience or price. I founded Kestrl because of how fed up I was at how poor Islamic financial services were in this country. Often people didn't use them because of how bad the user experience or customer service, and indeed how high on price they were. So Kestrl was the answer to that. If you download the Kestrl app today, it can help you by creating a budgeting plan. Plug in whatever bank account you have and it will create a auto budget just for you. You can then tell us what goals you're saving for and we'll save towards them automatically into pots, and then crucially link you towards Sharia compliant investment and savings products as well. So download Kestrl today and try it out for yourself. Now back to the podcast. And you were doing all of this from your restaurant?
We're doing all of this
from
the Italian restaurant. Same kitchen we operate from today.
So did you just like close up the menu, say we're not doing Italian food anymore?
So no, that was the fourth. So actually, sorry, my bad. There was 4 brands operating as well. So like that was still there.
The original Italian
brand. So it's like we can open these 3 from scratch. Let's see which one wins, or if anybody Italia does great, we'll take that. We'll revitalize that brand. So it was trying to figure out which one's the clear winner, right?
Yeah.
And my dad didn't want to do burgers.
Really?
Yeah.
He's like come from France, fine dining, smash burgers. Maybe
that's exactly why he doesn't want to do burgers.
Yeah.
Right? He was really proud of the Italian food setting,
of course.
And for him, he didn't want to go into this in the burger market, but I think I had to push him a bit closer to get him.
Because look, I work with my father and my brother as well. My dad is like the CFO, the grey hairs behind it. He controls all the money. My brother is like head of legal as a lawyer. The only thing that can move my father in any kind of meeting is the money. To show him the money trail.
You know exactly.
Right? So I assume it's a similar story for you guys. Yeah.
This is Asian dad universal.
Yeah, literally.
If you could show them that something works, show them that it's working, then it sways them, right?
Okay.
And it started showing that Simply Smash was the clear winner. Simply Smash was my brother's idea.
No way. Okay.
Yeah, he literally bought a £100 grill, brought that in. We didn't buy any other equipment, and we just started selling burgers from there.
Wow.
Yeah, because even then, like we were trying to operate super lean, right?
And also because I'm a little bit worried that we ordered this an hour ago, but I know the surprise is probably spoiled a little bit because you came in. But I actually made a quick trip, and at this point in the video, Amr, if you want to show, I did film a bit of my trip over there.
You went today?
Yeah, just before I got here. It was my first stop off. So
here is had this
a
before
Simply
got
Smash.
old, man.
I know. I wanted to do a reveal thing. It's still warm. It's still warm. It should be okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the Simply Smash, the Wagyu beef brisket. Actually,
the new burger that we just launched.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought, maybe we could try it out here on camera. Maybe you can talk to it as well.
Like a mukbang episode, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like a mukbang episode, maybe. But yeah, so this is basically, I don't know if I can, the winning thing out of the 4 brands that you did. I'm showing this to the camera now. But yeah, there you go. So talk to me about this. Why did this win? Why was this most popular?
Why was this the most popular? So I think it just goes back to like the unfair advantage, right? For me, it was more about the vegan burger was working. It was gaining some traction.
Yeah.
But it simply like there's a good demand. Burgers, there's always a good demand for burgers at the time. So we had simply the numbers were showing much stronger for Simply Smashed.
And how were you marketing this? Was it through Uber Eats?
That's why I was talking about the unfair advantages, right? It's because I was still using my Twitter account at the time. Like, I was still building this in public, right? I have a strong, predominantly like Muslim audience at the time. That's what I was thinking about. So in terms of where should I double down, it just became easier. My marketing efforts would be easier if we went something like this. But all the positive signs were already showing for Simply Smashed.
Absolutely.
But that's the kind of, in terms of how we're looking, just double down on where
so at
you have.
the end of the 140 days, you had managed through your distribution. You were pushing the vegan brand and this brand, right?
Yeah.
and you found clearly at the end of 140 days,
Simply Smashed.
what was the proportion for Simply Smashed that made you think this is the winner? Was it like an 80-20 thing? Or?
It was probably like a 70-30 kind of thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's very clearly.
Yeah, very clearly. It was.
So talk me through the concept. I don't know. Should we unwrap it? Show the people what this looks like?
Yeah.
So I thought to order this one because I saw your video recently about how you were doing this special campaign.
Yeah.
So there it is. This is the Wagyu beef brisket, and you were saying that you were donating was it a portion of the revenue or
No, all of it.
All of it.
No, all the profits of it was donated to Muslim Aid.
to Muslim Aid
We just finished the campaign.
to people in Gaza?
Yeah.
It's
So,
incredible. Here's
I'll
some
get to that
napkins
as well.
as well, by the way. So talk me through the burgers. What is a smash burger?
What a smashed burger is a burger where you smash the patty. It says it's in the name, right? It's it's a concept that became popularized in America, where you smash the patty, you get balls of patties, and you smash it on the grill, creates a crust at the bottom, and that's where the flavor comes from as well.
Okay.
And you season it directly on the grill, right? It's not patties that you create and season them beforehand and try and grill it. That's what we wanted to do real well. Like every single of our recipes, we start them at home.
You make it for yourself first.
So that's one of the things about Simply Smashed is that like every single recipe you see there was made by different family members.
I have to say,
How is it?
I'm usually not a fan of burgers, you know.
Okay.
I'm usually not, but mashallah, this is a really, really good burger.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that for the camera. Like, seriously, it's actually really good. So the idea is you're making something that you yourself would like. Each of the family members had some part to play in it.
Yeah, like we tested all our recipes are all like we test them at home first, then we bring them to the restaurant, and then we test a couple times after that. So it was genuinely we started making burgers that we would make a product.
Yeah.
Testing and iterating, and one of the things we did is we almost made what we'd call like data-driven burgers.
Data-driven burgers.
Wow. That's the term we coined for it. But the idea was that, especially when we opened as a dark kitchen, we had so many different options. Like we went for that like kind of Five Guys style model where like you can customize, you can make your own burgers. We used that to capture data, and we used that to understand like what combinations work best.
Oh, I see. So you would basically see all of these different permutations of a burger.
Yes.
Have it with pickles, with this sauce, with this kind of meat, this kind of that.
Exactly.
And then you would see, okay, this is the winning one that people are clearly choosing. What kind of audience size were you getting to be able to test all this?
So we're predominantly delivery at the time.
Still doing corporate? Through corporate emailing or?
No, it was. But we finished all our campaigns. We wrapped them up. We started back from scratch. So we said if we're going to build a brand, we have to go back to square one.
Yeah.
And for us, because we focused on the delivery experience so well, that's where we should start. So what we actually did is focused on Simply Smashed as a delivery kitchen, and to keep us afloat, we rented out the front bit to a flower shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we actually had a very weird aesthetic where people would have to go through a flower shop to pick up some burgers. And there's still videos. I'll show you some videos.
Yeah, it's not like that anymore. I was going to say.
I'll show you videos of me just handing burgers to people when they go through a flower shop. But yeah, that's the model we went for. And we started working very hard on building that audience, and we started growing it out from like the first 10, first 100, first 1,000 customers, and it started growing, and we started really working really well to make that delivery business good. We really focused on the quality and the ratings as well. And you'll see that like Simply Smash is like rated top eats on Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Which is a certification that Uber Eats gives you when you're essentially one of the highest rated merchants on the platform.
Was that your metric for success? Was it, okay, we want people to use us and really to show repeat usage and engagement. We want them to then go and review us within wherever they ordered us from.
Definitely. And one of our metrics of success, and especially us, we're big on reviews. We're big on, that's one of the best social proofs you can get for us. Because what we saw, especially in this market, is that there is a lot of spend on influencer spend that can create that can create a boost for your business and sales.
But it may not be sticky customers.
It's not sticky customers. Yeah. And the other thing is it's not a reflection of how your product's performing. Whereas working for those reviews, trying to understand how can we improve, and we collected feedback a lot. Just trying testing and iterating on product to get to where we are, and we came up with a formula of we got good at that. Alhamdulillah, we managed to stay top eats for a long time. Like even there was one point at Uber Eats where we lost all our ratings. They gave us a new account.
Why did that happen?
It was something with the merchant and there's some technical issues.
Right.
But even
then,
after that, it took 3 months to get to top eats, like 3 months of track record, and we got it again in 3 months. So by then we got confident that like we've got the processes right, we've got the quality assurance right to make sure that we're going to get this.
Incredible. Does that take us to the point in the story where something potentially quite devastating happens? I might be priming this.
Sorry, you're going to have to jog my memory.
Yeah, no, of course. So
really
it basically, as you picked up the drink, I think that's it, exactly. Okay. So the crisis in the Middle East, the crisis in Gaza begins. Many of us and many businesses start to adopt a practice of boycotting and meaningfully moving away from certain brands who have allied themselves with Israel. One of those brands is Coca-Cola. So you decided you were only going to stock Salam Cola, which specifically donates, I think, 10% of its revenues to people around the world, including those in Palestine. Now, people discovered this. And what happened then?
I remember I was still at the restaurant at the time, and we started, because we monitor like our performance quite closely. Initially, we just got like a 1-star review with no comments, and just thought that's odd, because we investigate as well. Like if something's going wrong, we want to understand what's happened and how do we prevent this from happening. And that's what we did. And like we're not getting like any customer that like were like we asking stuff like no one could remember this kind of customer or delivery with those names. And then we started getting a couple more, and it was because like some of the accounts were like they were reviewing the same restaurants. So you notice that some of them
there's a pattern.
There's a pattern, and then we got one that kind of confirmed what it was, which is a review which took a screenshot of our menu on Uber Eats and specifically referring to Salam Cola and saying, I don't want any the food industry should not be involved in politics. And pretty clear that they were targeting us for Salam Cola.
Right.
Initially it sucked. Like initially we thought, okay, we work hard for our reviews. We don't want this to happen. What can we do, right? For me, I was shocked. Like you're trying to target a restaurant in Hamlets, which was predominantly one of the most pro-Palestinian boroughs.
Of course.
In London.
You see flags everywhere. You see graffiti, all kinds of support.
Exactly. And you're trying to target us, really. So that's when we put out a tweet, just asking for like we worked hard on building community, and the community kind of supported us back. I remember we just put it out that we're starting to get review bombed by people who didn't like our pro-Palestinian stance. We started getting within the first 12 hours we started getting over like 200 5-star reviews. Supporting us, and community really backed us. And the thing for me started becoming like, especially like I was so shocked at trying to target us. It's like, actually, we should flip this around, and we should be about us sending a message that we're unapologetic about this. And it's one of the messages, especially when I think about it later on. Actually, let's get to that later on. But we started. We thought we need to come up with our own response.
Yes,
and that's when we decided. Alhamdulillah, we managed to turn around the whole campaign within 4 days. Where we created this campaign, we launched this brand new burger, and we partnered with Muslim Aid to donate all the profits for it for a week. We also partnered with Salam Cola. They gave us a brand. They supported us, gave us loads of cola and their water, and we started giving those out.
Wow!
So like, if you're going to target us for it, we're going to partner. We're going to partner. We're going to join together, and we're starting getting solidarity from other Muslim businesses as well, putting it out there. And we managed to turn around this campaign within a couple of days, ran it for a week, raised over 4,000, alhamdulillah, for Muslim Aid. That was our way to send a statement, right? And
look, very firmly, we are taking a stand.
Yeah.
And you can't bully us.
You can't bully us. That was the thing. You can't bully us. And I think that's very important to understand. I think especially when sometimes we feel intimidated very quickly, right? As Muslims.
As immigrants as well.
Yes.
I think because it's like, look, there's an immigrant mentality. I think it comes from, especially when you have parents who've just moved to this country, or they're the first generation. They don't want to stand out. They don't want to do anything to rock the boat or draw attention or anything like that. So it's just kind of, fit in. Don't do anything that might, bring something down upon us. So
Exactly.
how did your dad react?
My dad didn't know.
Does he know now?
He don't know now.
Okay.
Like for me, it was just like, let's figure out a response. Let's try and
Yeah.
because we can turn this into something, right? And like, alhamdulillah, if we can turn this into a statement. And the bigger thing for me is that, especially this is one of the wider missions of Simply Smash that we wanted, and it's show other Muslim business owners there's a better way of doing things. For me, especially when I entered the food industry, I was quite dissatisfied with a lot of how other Muslim business owners operate.
What were you saying?
It was right of things where like their values were not coming into their businesses. Like I thought whether it'd be using like young impressionable women in their content to just lure customers in.
Yeah.
Or like using a lot of music in their content and in store just blaring it out. I remember going to one restaurant and the restaurant was empty. Muslim staff. It's Maghrib time. I need a place to pray Maghrib. Restaurant's empty. Music's blaring. They're not going to turn off music. They're not going to let me pray. So it was like these are the kind of things that we saw that was kind of dissatisfying. We wanted to like. The thing is, if we can show there's a better way of doing things. The thing about the food industry, if something works, you'll see that 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 everyone else is gonna.
Yeah.
So if we had that in mind, like I love using my creativity to build businesses, but if there's a way that we can put our values onto this, stamp our values onto this, the hope is that if you're gonna take inspiration from the way we run things, also take the fact that we're doing it with our values,
Yes.
right? And the mission is to set a new standard of how to operate businesses, especially the thing with the food business is a lot of Muslim customers.
Yeah.
Like that's your audience.
Of course.
So if your audience is already Muslim, why are you not going to use Muslim values to operate as well?
I think there's so many parallels with fintech as well, which is why I love the idea that you said, data-driven burgers. I don't know how many people in the food industry do use data points like that.
Yeah.
And create food almost in a scientific way.
That's exactly
Right?
it. Yeah.
So, and as well as in the Islamic finance space, right? I think financial services along with food are two of the things that many Muslim customers vote with their wallets towards because halal exists within food, halal exists within finance. And, I think it's been better in the Islamic finance space. There's a bit more cohesion. There's so few of us anyway. It's been easier for us to take a stance on that. And in that similar vein, inshallah, we're really looking forward to launching our boycotting product in a few weeks' time as well. But yeah, gosh. So what a crazy roller coaster that was.
You make a good point. And I actually want to revisit something that you mentioned was the immigrant mentality point that you said. I think sometimes we have a lot of fears that if we just talk about it, you'd see that some of them are quite irrational.
Yes.
For me, when I realized something about the food industry, especially working on here, that there's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity. My whole supply chain is actually Muslim butchers. You're getting we can get different items from people who have our values. So if my customer base is also Muslim, like if I'm not depending on anything, right? There's nothing actually silencing me apart from myself.
And also it's harder for someone to attack you or bully you.
That's exactly
in that similar way. You can almost speak without fear because it's like, okay,
exactly.
You can't hit me where it hurts, which
Exactly.
is, my wallet, my business.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that we want to do with this brand as well. That like there's a unique opportunity here to be outspoken in ways that not many brands can be. Yeah, exactly. So there's an opportunity to be outspoken, like and the brand voice that I think about sometimes, I've done this well, for example, is like Ben and Jerry's. Like they can speak about social justice, and that's incorporated within their brand, right?
Yes.
And that's what we want to do something similar with Simply Smash, right? Talk about the issues that matter to us, and you use, because we're in an industry that we don't have that dependency. We can be outspoken in a way that not many other brands can be in the food industry.
For sure.
And yeah, that's one of the cool things about the food industry.
Incredible. So we mentioned that we kind of whizzed past this, but tell me about this burger, right? So the Wagyu beef, I've never done like a food review type thing, so I'm trying to do it. But you said each of the ingredients was inspired, was it by a family member or? No,
that's all our menu items. So our menus is quite small in general.
Okay.
Feel free to eat while I talk.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so if you notice, when you went to Simply Smash, we have a very simple menu. We had only 3 burgers in this limited item burger.
Yeah.
That's because we test and iterate each one. And every different menu item is tested and iterated by different members of the family. So like this has part of me, my brother on it. Like my brother made the white sauce that's inside this burger.
Okay.
And my bubby as well, my brother's wife. The Wagyu patty is one of the things that...
The patty is really good, by the way. It's like really sweet. Like a brioche type. You know, I don't have many burgers, so people are like, oh, they're, you know, maybe they're meant to be like that. But yeah, it's really, really good. And the sauce isn't overwhelming either. What I've found is like with a lot of burgers, when you bite into the sauce, it just gets everywhere. Yeah.
That's why we call it Simply Smash, actually, because we felt like there was so many... Burgers were getting so complicated. I was a big burger eater. I eat a lot of burgers. Okay. Especially when I was 18. Yeah. I was going out with my friends like once a week, twice a week, going out trying different burger shops. You start getting burgers that just get more and more outrageous, right? You get like fried egg, hash brown, many different things. You're just chucking everything away at one point. So the way my brother came up with the name Simply Smashed was the best burgers are the ones that are simple. Go back to good ingredients. Go back to great sauces, flavors that complements the staple, right? The bun, the bun and the meat and the sauce. So so the idea is simplicity, and we try to incorporate that into different.
Burgers. Did you make the patty? Was that your input?
My input, yes. Yeah. So my input was the patty and then also the brisket.
Okay.
And the 12-hour smoked black Angus brisket that we use in this. So we get smoked, and it comes together with this Wagyu patty to make this burger.
Incredible, Marshall. Well, you've outdone yourself.
What's your feedback? Go on, tell me.
Genuinely, I'd probably give it like an 8.5.
Okay.
An 8.5 out of 10. I'm only saying that because I haven't finished it yet, but. Yeah, it's which is very high for me for a burger. My one complaint about burgers in general. This isn't going to be like, this is a money podcast. Like, why are we talking about burgers? So if you're listening, I encourage you to go onto YouTube and watch. It's a much more visual experience, this one. Is that the patty often doesn't taste very good, right? You'll have the sauce, which is there, the bun, which is there, but they're doing the heavy lifting for the actual meat.
Yeah.
Whereas here, the meat is the star of the show.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, when you say it's been smoked for 12 hours, you can taste it.
Good.
Right? You can tell that. Maybe 8.5 is too low. I don't know. We'll decide by the end.
Caveat that it's been sitting in.
It has been sitting here for an hour. Yeah, since I got it. So, but yeah, Marshall, it's really, really good. So, what's the future of Simply Smash now? You survived the review bombing. The community rallied behind you to support you. You're now the #1 reviewed burger joint in London for 4 months running.
Yeah.
What's next? You have this one site in Mile End.
Yes.
You want to open more?
That's what we're looking at right now. I think. We've been working for the past year, and to be fair, like if we wanted, we could have started expanding 6 months ago.
Okay,
but I think one thing about us that we don't want to rush things. So we've been spending the year perfecting our offerings, perfecting what we've built at Simply Smashed.
Sure,
and now we're feeling confident that we're ready to grow and we're ready to scale. So inshallah, we aim for it to be a more important year for us.
Okay.
So
incredible, mashallah. So you came up with the idea in 140 days. You generated a £250,000 turnover in the first year.
Yes,
I believe.
Back then, yes.
Okay, wow. And then now you have, is it 7 staff?
Actually, you're probably getting that from my LinkedIn.
From LinkedIn, that's right. Yeah, sorry.
It's quite outdated now. We've grown quite a bit. I'd say, how many people do we have now? Around like 10 staff, 10 to 12 staff right now.
Okay,
So,
mashallah.
yeah,
Amazing.
we're growing. We've bootstrapped our way to what we are now.
Completely bootstrapped.
Yeah, so we didn't even start on the red. It was from zero. We were starting from the red, but alhamdulillah, we've gotten to where we are, and I think
Mashallah.
it's time to grow now.
So this is a debate that I've asked the last few guests. Abdurrahman was on a couple of weeks ago from Pillars. We had Shinaz Nawaz, who was on as well, from the founder of Nia app.
Yeah,
They have very different views on growth.
of course.
One, the former saying you should bootstrap all the way. The latter saying you should take funding. It's the only way to move quickly and make as much impact as possible. What's your view on it?
I don't have a direct view of one which is better than the other.
Okay.
Directly, I think it's very depends on the industry, depends on the situation, kind of thing. For example, one of the ways that like is very common to grow, and it's one of the ways we were initially considering, was to franchise the Simply Smash brand.
Okay.
And that's what
I got a few requests when people found out I was interviewing you.
Uh-huh.
People saying, "Oh, can I? Is he looking to franchise? I want to open something up in Oxford. I want to do something in Warwick." So yeah, I think it's on the table.
So yeah, we've had a lot of requests on that. If we do offer a franchise product, I want to make sure it's perfect for the franchisees. So, but one of the things, especially I noticed with the franchise model, that a lot of businesses are growing very quickly. It's very hard to regulate the quality, very hard to maintain it. So, I think right now, this could change. We're still evaluating. This is generally just still a discussion we're having right now. But I think the priority is how do we make sure that we scale in a way that maintains the quality, maintains what we've built, and we're very, very careful about that. And
so that seems to be you want to ensure you're maintaining as much control as possible. Perhaps bootstrapping is the way. I'm not trying to push you for an answer, but that seems to be.
We're evaluating options, right? Okay. We're like you said. I think even if we do like for example raise or go through that avenue, and then franchise later on. But we want to be very confident that we've replicated this really well, and then until we've done that, and when we've done that, inshallah, then we'd consider franchising.
I was in Silicon Valley recently, and I saw something I hadn't seen before.
Yeah,
which was a robot pizza maker, a van thing where basically it was a van where. Apparently there was no one inside the van, but there was a big touch screen and you would go on and you would order your pizza and then it would come up and create the pizza and provide the pizza with you.
Yeah.
Did not taste good, right? At all. And I'm pretty sure there was someone inside. But I don't know. Are you ever inspired by what's happening over there in America? Whether it's with franchising or the way they're doing things? Because when I think of franchise burgers, I think Mr. Beast.
It didn't go well.
It didn't go well. What happened there?
It's the thing I just mentioned right now. The quality, they didn't manage to keep that. And it's one of the reasons why, I don't say for the lawsuit with Mr. Beast where...
Is he getting sued?
No, Mr. Beast is suing the distribution partner.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because they did in a way that they're maintaining quality. And it's one of the things, right? If you franchise, you need to make sure the quality of a product stays there. It's interesting because this conversation... And it's one with, if we do it, we want to do it right. If we do the franchise, like our aspirations would be like giving the best franchise opportunity to franchisees. But one of the things I saw, like I remember going to like a investor meet for a franchise of another burger joint.
Really?
I was just doing a bit of competitor analysis, but and their offering was, you'll see, like these guys, they've come from a corporate background as well. It's quite flashy, and they were trying to scale this brand. And it's something that I've noticed where, because they come in quite flashy, they invest a bit on how their brand looks, a bit more on content, the underlying but they didn't focus much on the underlying product. And it almost seems like a focus is on getting as many franchises going, right?
Yeah,
try and make your money. That was like 2 years ago, and now that brand doesn't exist. They sold a couple franchises, and none of them have succeeded really well.
It seems like coming back to your background in product.
Yeah.
It's all about the quality of the underlying product and the value that you're giving to the customer.
Yeah. And that's the difficulty. physical products are tough, man.
Yeah.
Because the thing about digital products, you work on them and then you don't even have to think about scaling that much, right? Because you've built something and you know everyone's gonna have the same experience. If I've made a really nice burger, and that's it. You need to make sure you can make this really nice burger 1,000 times, 10,000 times.
Yeah.
That means it's actively at the front of your mind. That's the difference between like launching a physical product that's really tough.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been working and refining on, successfully focus on replicating that. When inshallah, when we do look to scale, that's one of the things that's always at the forefront of our mind, making sure that we have as we grow with people that understands our mission, understands what we're trying to do here, trying to stay understand why we attribute so much of our success to our values, and then take it from there. So that's why it's one of the reasons why I've been a bit more apprehensive, maybe go a bit, but we just want to be confident we scaled it.
Yeah, of course.
And then we can think about those.
We're running short on time, but I do want to do a quick shout out to my co-founder and our CTO, Irfan Razi, because before he was at Kestrl, he actually tried to run a burger place in Malaysia.
Yes.
So Malaysia, they had a concept of street burgers, which were really, really popular, coming out, people making them literally on the street side. And he tried to make it into a proper business model, launch it with a restaurant. And I think, just like you said, focus on quality. I think with them, they over-focused on quality and they missed out all the business side of things. So the operations fell apart. They weren't actually making any money on any of the burgers, but at the same time, they were investing in, I think they started investing in like the factory and some of the machinery before they even had made sure that each of the burgers being produced was positive from a unit economics perspective. And unfortunately, even though they had like 4 outlets, I think I'm remembering that right, Irfan, 4 outlets, it fell apart from that. So I guess it's a balance of both worlds.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's why when I talk about like having the right blend of skills, that's why me and my brother are like perfect in that sense, because I'm more like your co-founder.
Okay.
I love getting to the product of things. I love to get into let's just make something really cool and let's grow it, and that's me. And my brother will take then we'll take it, how can we make this viable? And that's how we really work well together.
Incredible.
Yeah, so
Mashallah.
it's like naturally we've gotten those kind of skills from each. He works at ChargePoint as a group product portfolio manager at the moment as well. So we've both gotten these kind of skills where they work really well to establish businesses as well. I'm looking forward to seeing what's next.
Well, like I said, we're running short on time, bro. But thank you so much.
My pleasure.
To finish off,
yes.
What has been the absolute high point of your career so far?
That's a hard question.
Sorry, we like to end on a big one.
Do you know what? For me, it's money and that sales numbers. They're nice. They're flashy, but it's never been that for me. One of the things that really excite me, and one of the reasons why I was talking about Mini being one of the times I had the most fun, is just like most of the Qajariyya metrics. Like having seen that kind of impact, I think that excites me a lot more.
Sorry, the what metrics?
Like Sadaqa Jariyah.
Oh, the Sadaqa Jariyah metrics.
So like so for example, like one of the high points for me was like probably during Ramadan, during the peak of Mini D, we went viral, super viral at the time.
Yeah.
And you're just seeing so many users coming in.
Yeah.
And they're all using this. And don't get me wrong, this is not at a good time. It's happening during Taraweeh. Oh,
okay.
So it's not the greatest time for this to be happening.
Why were people on socials? What were you guys doing?
It's but it's the excitement that like we've built something, people are using it and actually donating money through.
Yeah.
It's not just like donating once. Like even there's still a community on there that's actually donating pennies. Whether it's not the numbers that count. Is the fact that you can build things that continue being Sadaqah Jariyah for you. That's the most exciting part. Like for me, even for Simply Smashed, one of the reasons why I was super big on like community building is that's what excites me, right? And it's like even just as one joint right now, it's inspired things like other restaurants also using like Quran recitation like we do in our content. It's inspired other restaurants to actually have a whole prayer room set up in their restaurant as well. And they've told us like that's what they've done. And it's inspired other restaurants to do like sisters only nights. That's one thing we've started doing.
No way.
We started doing a space, a time where only sisters can eat in. and other restaurants have started doing that as well. So these are the things that we can set, right? And these are the things that ultimately is going to be the legacy. And for me, those are the kind of high points. Those are the things like, how can I build something like that can leave behind a new standard for how Muslims businesses operate. And what I've realized a lot is the best way to want other businesses or other things to operate is you just have to show them a better way.
Yeah.
And if you do it well, they're naturally going to follow.
Of course.
And that's what we're trying to do here.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Saqib, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you for listening to the Muslim Money Talk podcast. If you like what you heard, then please subscribe to Muslim Money Talk wherever you might have been listening to this. Give us a like and share it with someone who you think might be interested. It really, really helps us out. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, and see you next time.